Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you as always by Export Ultra. This is the Agenda podcast for Friday the 18th of October.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
And a big happy Friday to one half of the Grot and Jerry show this morning. And actually, Kate Britton from out in the office was saying that they should be calling the Hauraki Breakfast at the moment. It should be Hauraki Breakfast with an agenda.
Yes.
Because it's just us filling it.
Yeah. I spat roast the week on a Monday and a Friday. And
Spat roast?
Yeah.
Is that the past tense of spit roast?
Yeah, I spat the Jerry show.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hauraki Breakfast or whatever it is. Have you seen the branding they've done for poor Jeremy?
Yeah.
And it's like Jeremy Wells and friends, and it's the saddest photo of him on his own.
And it's so stark because he only takes up a quarter of the picture.
Yeah.
And the rest is just empty greyness.
No, this morning it was a bit of America's Cup chat around, they're not going to do the racing here, so if we do win the Cup, we need to make it work harder for Kiwis.
Yeah.
So we talked about maybe taking it on the road and using it at 21st to scull out of instead of a yard glass.
Oh, yeah, the old one. Yeah.
Potentially drilling some holes in it and turning it into a shisha pipe.
Oh,
a bong.
That's perfect for it.
Yeah, turning it into a bong. Some suggestions around maybe just giving it to Samoa to say sorry. For crashing and soiling their pristine beaches.
Yeah.
So we talked a bit about that. Talked a bit about yesterday afternoon. I think you had left work, but I was in the toilet and someone came in at 2 p.m. and was vigorously brushing their teeth in the toilets.
Oh.
Yeah. And it raised alarm bells for me because we discussed what would require that. A big lunch and a meeting afterwards to hide some evidence?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, okay.
That's exactly what it would have been.
My mind also went, because it was in the public toilet one that has renowned for hookups.
Yep. So you think maybe Thursday afternoon hookup?
Yeah, potentially getting ready for the hookup in the toilet or post, getting rid of any kind of DNA.
Post, I reckon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, very considerate from that person to brush their teeth beforehand.
Anyway, it was the renowned toilet. And then actually that person, after they finished brushing their teeth, I burst out to see who it was.
Did you see them?
No, they scuttled into the disabled. So it kind of makes sense.
I've got I reckon it was definitely a hookup. They were trying to avoid someone seeing that they had been out there hooking up.
Yeah.
Hook up or piss up.
Yes, right.
Or fuck up. That's my rule. That's how I live my life. You got three options the way I see it. No, I was going to say...
Hook up, piss up. That's the way I live my life.
That's the way I live my life, man. And if it's none of those... But that's the only value people I see in people in my life. Hook up, piss up or fuck up. No, I don't stand by any of the things that I say on this podcast at all. I was going to say, I've got a thing on... If I'm in the toilets at work... or any public toilets, and I'm in the stall, and I hear someone else is about to leave the stall, I'll let them go before I come out.
You don't want to face them?
I don't want to face them, and it's more of a courtesy thing out of I don't want them to have to face me, because someone was in there this morning. I don't know why this always starts with toilet chat, but it does. Just heavy breathing, and
Well, sometimes you've got to breathe through it. It's like, and the basics of childbirth is controlling your breathing. Yeah. And it's sometimes when I go to the toilet, it almost feels like I'm giving birth to something.
Yeah, so this bloke was really getting into his breath work this morning. Just concentrating
Push on the third.
Staying alive. Probably not pushing too hard. He's probably concentrating on that.
You don't want to. Yeah, because you don't want to blow anything out there. You don't want to blow foo-foo.
No. And so I was just thinking, I put myself in his shoes, and I was like, well, he's not going to want me to look him in the eye after, because he'd be aware that. I hope he's aware
that he could hear you breathing through it.
That I could hear him.
Breathing through it. Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm like, we don't want to lock eyes after that. So I will generally, if I'm about to leave, I'll wait and let them clear out.
It's very courteous of you.
Yeah.
Very courteous.
And subsequently, it annoys me when I'm clearly about to head out and then someone else bursts out of the thing as well. You're like, fuck, really? We're going to do this? Because if we know each other, now I've got to be like, oh, yeah, what about when you were just ripping ass this morning?
Well, that's famously, every morning my bowels synced with great New Zealander David Fane.
That's right.
And he was my dump buddy for about 18 months when he was on Breakfast and Flavour and I was working at ZM. We're dump buddies, and we've known each other as dump buddies ever since. So he came in for a Stacey Morrison function, and I was like, dump buddy, and we embraced like old friends.
And did you guys have a yarn while you were dumping?
Yeah, It got to the point where we were so comfortable we'd just chat.
Yeah,
and we completely ignored the fact that we were both doing terrible things to the porcelain, but and occasionally someone would give something extra, and you go, "Oh, Dave, jeez,
Jesus Christ!"
And you go, "Sorry, Laney, you've big night last night." But it got to the point where it must have been the 8 o'clock hour or something, when there was a bit of a break, and Dave could take 5.
Yeah,
and it aligned with my morning coffee.
Yeah,
and need to go. Anyway, should we get off the toilet chat? Because this morning we did chat about fucking with Mike Hosking a bit more.
Okay, yes.
And we rang Matt Heath
live
on air and put him on the spot around, is he willing to be, he owes us.
Yeah. So
he's left Jerry in the lurch. He owes the show to do something.
There's a new segment on the Hauraki Breakfast with an agenda, because we have a mole on the inside, we've got Matt Heath.
Yeah.
We want to start getting him to, Jerry wants to call it F with MH.
Yes.
Which could either stand for fuck with Mike Hosking or fuck with Matt Heath. But because we've got a mole on the inside, because I think the first one that was brought up, that he has his own Dyson vacuum cleaner, and he will vacuum the studio every day when he gets in there. So it was like, well,
remove the filter.
Remove the filter?
Because that's so annoying. Or block the filter, because then it goes starts and it stops. It fucks me off so much.
Or run the battery down.
Yep.
That'll be another one. So you talked to Heath this morning on
the show?
Yes,
we talked to Heath. And look, effing with MH is quite good, because we can, if we get in trouble, we can deny it and say it's Matt Heath, when really it's Hosking.
Yeah.
No, we talked to him, and we've discussed quite a few things. He brought up a point, because I was talking extreme things like putting green lip mussels in the roof ceiling tiles and stuff like that. And he goes, that's going to really affect me as well, because he uses the studio. So we're like, fair enough, we'll start small. And we suggested popping the keys off his keyboard and swapping around a couple of valves.
Yep, great.
Initially, that would be quite good. Potentially switching around, reversing his mouse button, which is quite frustrating. Yep. Then we got on to something quite good, because Matt gave us some insight. He's got a printer right next to him.
Does he?
Yes, and he prints off everything and reads it off a piece of paper.
Right.
Now, we don't want to fuck with him so he can't print, but what we'd love to do is like just load it with yellow ink, like just get rid of the magenta, everything else, and just load it with one color, so it only comes out purple or yellow or red, and he can't do anything about it, because he can still do his job.
Yeah.
But it'll piss him off. And so Matt's in. He's in.
Okay.
He's in for the
first problem.
Effing with the MH.
First problem. Heath was in on the podcast earlier this week. For anyone who was able to watch the video portion of the podcast, you will notice he spent the entire podcast trying to pair his phone to his Apple Watch.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. But I don't know if he's got the technical know-how to be able to swap the filters out.
Oh, no, we'll do that.
Oh, okay.
We just needed that bit of intel from him. That's our inside kind of knowledge. We've already talked about how we're going to get in there. It's like Ocean's 11.
Yeah. We're putting a team together.
We're putting a team together, and I'll discuss it with you after the show around how we're going to do it, because it needs to be an operation in which there needs to be a false flag somewhere on the floor, and we need to go in there. So to actually do the bits and pieces, because I think there's always someone in that production area outside Hosking, so we need a distraction.
I think I know how I can Trojan horse my way in there.
Yeah. There's the studio, the TV studio right next door that we go to quite often.
Yes, I've got a more direct approach though. I dress up as a cleaner and walk straight in there. Yeah. I'm a minority. He's already going to assume I'm part of the cleaning staff.
Yeah, that's true.
I reckon I could waltz straight in there with a little bit of high vis and a cleaning uniform.
That's a great idea.
I reckon I could walk straight in there and just be like, "Hey, look, I've come to empty the bins or something."
Yeah.
And someone mentioned that the printer was out of ink, so I'm. Oh, no, because then he knows I fucked with the printer. No, I'll just come in to empty the bins.
And I think at night time, because Marcus Lush does the night show from Bluff.
Yeah.
So there's only a young producer sitting there getting him phone calls, so I won't care.
No.
So, yeah, we've got the team together. The team is assembled. I think we're meeting lunchtime today over Yumcha at an undisclosed location.
Yep.
To work out phase 2 of effing with MH. So,
okay.
Yeah, so next week, when you're on next week, you can just, this is like passing the baton to people over a breakfast show. That's what we talked about. You guys carry on next week.
Yes.
Are you on next week?
No, but Hurley is.
No, I think he's only on from Wednesday.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck, I'll find out on Sunday night.
Yeah,
but
same.
I like the Yeah, I'm picturing it like Ocean's 11. I can hear the little jazz music in the background, and you know how the characters are walking past each other and handing off brown paper bags, and
there's someone leaning over the sub-editor and the herald just distracting them with something.
Yeah, meanwhile I walk past in a fake beard on top of my real beard.
Yeah, you full like Team America, really bad, like.
And it's just all your guys' pubes. He's donated.
Like Jeremy Beadle. Do you remember Beatles About?
No.
Oh my God, the people who remember Beatles About, it was a prank show with Jeremy Beadle, who was this very strange English presenter. And they'd always dress him up as a cleaner, and he'd have a terrible beard and sunglasses. It was Team America-esque, and he would always appear, but the disguise was so bad that when the person saw him, they'd go, fuck, it's Beatles About.
It's old Beadle.
Yeah, it's old Beadle. It's old Jeremy Beadle.
I think you've shown me this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's a great idea. We'll keep going. And there's actually, at the end of the show, we've got plenty of yours pleases to get through at the end of the show. One of them is about a similar sort of thing, so we'll pick up on that as well. The Black Caps, we need to talk about it. Let's take a quick break. This is a tease. This will keep you around. We're going to talk about the Black Caps. Just incredible what happened overnight. We're going to break it down right after this break. India, all out for 46 was the headline this morning.
So good to watch, and so disappointing for the ACC team who were doing game of two halves, because India were like 38 for 8 at 8:30 last night.
Oh my God.
So hopefully people can go back and watch game of two halves, because at the same time we were tearing India a new one on Sky Sport 1.
Is that why the ratings sucked for that TV show? Not because it's shit.
It was.
Let's not go watch the replay.
It was something else to behold, because they were so reckless, India.
But
their batting was so reckless, but awesome. Unbelievable. They got out for 46. But this is a Black Caps fan issue. I still couldn't enjoy the fact we rolled India for a record low total in India. I still couldn't enjoy it.
Why?
Because I was terrified about us batting next.
Yeah.
And facing Suraj and Bumrah and going, fuck, and balls deep and Ashwin. I was like, fuck. And so I had immediately got him out for 46. I immediately had anxiety about us batting.
I think this all the time, man. When we have an awesome bowling attack, we're just like, it's the same pitch. We're about to walk back out onto the same pitch. Why won't it do the same thing to us?
But then we didn't.
And it didn't. So 180 for 3, I think it stumps on day 2, because the first day was a washout. The weird thing about it, and this just shows how much India control world cricket, is this morning I went to watch the highlights, and I couldn't find... All of the highlights packages were geo-blocked, except for highlights of Ashwin bowling out Conway, and like all of the Indian wickets were on there. But there was nothing about how they got fucked up for 46.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Unfortunately for us, 36 is still our low score.
Yes, yeah.
Is that the all-time low score?
No, there's lower than that.
Like Zimbabwe or something in there.
There's a shocker out there.
Late 90s. But yeah, so... This is huge, and again, at the end of the show, we're going to get to the yours pleases. There is a little bit of vitriol for us.
Oh, my tip.
Yeah.
I'm still in on India, though. You know
Are you? Despite all of that?
Batting, I'm like, this is like happiness insurance, sure, because if we win this, it's going to be amazing. But a happiness insurance for me, batting last on any Indian pitch is a challenge. Right. So, I mean, this is the paranoid Black Caps fan of me talking. We could get rolled for 60 in the second innings. Yeah. You know what I mean? That is if they can get rolled for 46, we can get rolled for 50. You know, that's what my paranoia is. We've got to get a lead of 300. Yeah, at least, and then I'll be more comfortable. And look,
but even then,
TAB, take my money. It's a win in India. We haven't only ever had one Test victory in India, and it was the second Test of a series in which they pumped us in the first Test. They rested loads of players. Hadley got 10 wickets, but it was so long ago. But
I don't remember it.
Take my money. I don't care. It's happiness insurance, and I know we're going to get some shit because I tipped out India at 280 to win, and New Zealand at 14 to win. And if you got on that, fucking good on you. Yeah, well done.
What if you had to pick what happened? What happened? Like you said, they're reckless. But
there was a bit of movement. There was a bit of seam movement, but not crazy. Yeah, like it was a bit. The ground was a bit wet. The ball was doing a bit, but. If you saw New Zealand bat, it was doing a bit, but we weren't playing outrageous. Rishant Pant's shots were fucking outrageous. Like he got dropped by Blundell, absolute sitter. But he was swinging at everything, wide swinging. That's how they got everyone. There was half of them were just reckless shots, which doesn't say they're not bad against us. They had to get them out.
Yeah, that's right.
But it seemed a bit careless from India, the way they batted. And I don't know if that's the way they bat against everyone or were they just treating us with disregard.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Did they sort of just waltz into this one and be like, eh?
Yeah, and good on Matt Henry. 5 wickets, got 100 test wickets now. He bowled
Does
really.
he?
He bowled really well. You could tell Will O'Rourke was just trying to bowl as fucking fast as possible, which but that's what he's supposed to do.
That's what the young fella in the team is supposed to do.
But the odd one was like I think he bowled one at second slip one stage. He was like firing everywhere, but he was hurrying them up. He was bowling in the low 140s. But when Matt Henry came on, Matt Henry on a green seamer, like Matt Henry at Hagley is like it's a beauty to watch because it's swinging, it's seaming. Yeah. That was him. That was him last night. It was beautiful to watch.
Is it just that they prepared the wrong pitch? They gave us our own pitch.
Well, he said the Indian captain has said I completely misread the pitch, and it does look like a road.
Yeah.
You look at it and go, that's a road. That's a bat first. Put a total on, but maybe because of the rain and it been under covers, it was under covers all the day before.
Yeah.
And all that morning and an hour before it started.
Right.
So obviously it had a bit of juice in it, and that's what caused a few issues. But
is it going to dry out and we're going to get spun to bits later on? Maybe?
That's again that is what everyone's. That's a Black Cat fan right there. You've summed it up in one, and I fucking hate it. It's killing us, but that's why we love it. That's why we love it.
Yeah. So we're in the driver's seat, well and truly. 180 for 3. We're not going to dish out any tips off the back of that.
No. But my new India are paying like $6.
And just bear in mind if you're gambling on this one, look, there's plenty of cricket left to be played.
There is
plenty of cricket, and there's wild circumstances. One last final thought on this: whenever there's a rain delay, we as New Zealanders, and I'm not saying the Black Caps, but as Kiwis, we love to just properly lean into the piss on a rain delay. You know, do you reckon there was any element of that, and maybe that actually gave us a bit of extra juice on the?
So do you think potentially though, like this test match is going to be rained off? Let's just
hit the piss, and the next day they're oh god, and then sometimes you have your best performances off the back foot.
True, actually, because you got a point to prove. You almost try a bit harder because you don't want to be exposed as fuck. They look hungover.
There's that. Then there's the other thing of just going into survival mode and being like, right, we just have to get this done. I'm so dusty, I've just got to go. Yeah. And then you're not overthinking, you're not in your own head, you're just trying to survive.
There is where they're staying is, I think it's the Ritz Bangalore is where they usually stay. There is a great, ironically, a craft beer bar right next door on the rooftop of because that's where we stayed when we went to the All Work No Play Bangalore trip.
Is this where Matt Heath weed on Virat Kohli?
Yes, yeah. Okay. So right next door is a big craft beer bar. It's like an American style with wings and beers, and so I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh mate, if I'm Will O'Rourke and I see sort of some of the older fellas in the team knocking the head off, a beer or two, I'd lose the plot.
You lose the plot anyway.
I suppose that's why I'm not in the Black Caps.
You are where you belong.
Yeah, water finds its level, doesn't it? Black Caps 180 for 3, Stumps Day 2. It'll pick back up again 5 o'clock this afternoon, which is actually fucking brilliant.
I might even start earlier, but I doubt it because there is rain around.
Oh, is there?
All 5 days predicted to have a little bit of rain, so it's going to be on and off a little bit, but it's so far. I don't think they'll need 5 days anyways.
No, not when they get bowled out for 46.
Yeah.
Do you reckon? Sorry, I know we need to get off the Black Caps here, but do you reckon at any point the Black Caps started looking at it and going, if we can get them for 35, that would absolve so many of our sins?
Yes.
Because
they were almost looking like that.
Yeah.
They were in trouble. Hey, and quickly on cricket.
Yes.
The T20 Women's World Cup has gone all over the show because Australia have been knocked out by South Africa.
Yes.
So the two hot favourites, England and Australia, are gone. And New Zealand are playing West Indies to then play South Africa in the final.
It couldn't have gone any better. 2
teams of which they've beaten regularly.
Yes.
And competed with regularly. Because I would have, if it was New Zealand Australia final, I hate to say it, we wouldn't have won that.
Because the stat going into that was that they hadn't won a T20 in the calendar year 2024. Yeah. They'd lost 10 in a row. And those were against Australia and England, weren't they?
Yes. So this is worked out perfectly. So that's all happening this weekend as well.
And I don't want to downplay the quality of the White Ferns, but it does have a touch of the Stephen Bradburys about it. who was the Australian ice skater dude, where everyone else fell over and he just went through and won the whole thing.
Take it though.
Yeah.
He's a Winter Olympic gold medalist.
That's right. So, God bless. I hope they manage to win this one, because also you win a tournament in Dubai. No better place to bloody celebrate.
Absolutely, and what a great comeback story as well. Losing 10 in a row and then winning a World Cup.
How good would that feel when
good luck to
when
them.
you're at your rooftop brunch on the Palm Jumeirah?
Oh yeah.
Overlooking the old Arabian Peninsula. Anyway, football. Auckland FC on tomorrow. We're heading along to the game. We had Ali Williams in yesterday. If you haven't listened to that, I thoroughly recommend that you do. Classic. This is very football. There's an Auckland FC fan group who are going to protest the club's owner at their inaugural A-League men's match tomorrow after the revelation that he is a donor to US presidential candidate Donald Trump. This team didn't exist until Bill Foley made it exist. What? And now you're going to complain about him? They were saying that they Auckland football fans deserve to have a team without having to deal with the political blah, 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 blah. You don't deserve shit. Nobody deserves anything. This didn't exist until he was like, yeah, sweet, I'm going to make it happen. And you're still not happy with it. I do wonder if this is like 3 people. Yeah,
it's 3 people that have got some spare time between the kind of Free Palestine situation and gone, hey, let's be a big crowd there. Let's go along there.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I don't know. What does it matter that you support a Republican or a Democrat in America?
Who cares?
Who gives a fuck?
I couldn't give a shit. I couldn't give a shit if he's bankrolling Seymour, who wants to tear the treaty up.
It's kind of weird.
Do you want to watch soccer or not?
It's weird.
And who cares where the money comes from?
And why have they given them fucking column inches? I don't know.
Yeah, and now we're talking about them on this podcast. Fuck those guys. Don't bother coming.
Yeah, don't bother coming. I'll buy you a beer and I'll smash it in your face.
And I do want to remind people that we are pro-Trump on this podcast because of when
Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe took. I don't know. There's been so many stories about this since then. But anyway, the story was that he took the 18th NRL franchise off New Zealand and gave it to Papua New Guinea as part of like a keeping China out of the Pacific sort of deal with Peter V'landys.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, Sleepy Joe, you're going to take the 18th NRL franchise off New Zealand? We're in on Trump then.
Yeah. That's the only reason we are.
Yeah.
God, I mean, every other thing, any other value Trump has is flawed. But
if he can get an NRL team back into thing, we'd be stoked with it. And if he's had any part in getting Auckland FC into Auckland, then you should be stoked with it too.
In fact, I'm getting on my phone. I'm donating $20 to Donald Trump's campaign, and come and protest this podcast.
Oh, that's a great marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Protest the podcast. We should come out staunch pro-Trump on this podcast. Yesterday, I told you about how we teamed up with our mates at Hallensteins to present the ACC's Best of 2024 Warriors edition. We took all of your votes. I forgot to write the names of who won in there.
Just some basic admin.
Some basic admin that I left off my plate. Best off-field performance was, in fact, Stacey Jones rolling a durry in the coach's box.
That was so good. He had the Port Royal out.
Yeah, allegedly. And the best try of the year was Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, the game-winning try in Sean Johnson's last game. Yep. It had to be just because of what it meant. And the best Warriors newcomer was Tane Tuopiki for winning actually for having a tremendous season.
Yeah.
But most memorably for winning that game against the Panthers.
I like the look of him. He reminds me of Brett Webb.
Yeah, Brett Webb.
Like just a nuggety hot stepper, difficult to tackle, but not overly large.
No.
But dangerous.
Gutsy.
Dangerous on attack, yeah.
Gutsy. I wouldn't be able to lay a finger on him.
Yeah. And imagine him on a touch field.
Oh, my God.
Disaster.
He looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, I love him. Best moment of the season was Sean Johnson setting up that last try, last play of his career. And Forey has won $200 worth of Hallensteins vouchers just for voting. So thank you very much to those who did.
I'll tell you what, they got, sorry to interrupt. They've got some great kit at Hallensteins now. They've got all the UFC merch as well, so you can buy Adesanya kit, you can buy Dan Hooker gear, got all the NFL gear as well. So they just need to get a bit of Warriors gear in there. You know, they're a partner of the Warriors.
They are a partner of the Warriors.
Yeah, they maybe need to get onto that. That would be mean.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's take one more quick break and we'll come back with yours, please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
We didn't feel like subjecting Ali Williams to any of this yesterday, so we've got a few to make up today. This is the part of the show where you can get involved with your feedback. Little microphone button, bottom right-hand corner of your iHeartradio app. When you do that, we'll play them out like this. Yours, please.
Hey boys, Steve from Lagoon here. Hey, I just about took your advice from Tuesday on chucking some money on India. It's a bit of a safe bet for this test. Then after a few beverages that night, I went, fuck it, I'll chuck $300 on these cunts. And I thought, no, shit, because the odds went up to 315. Had a quick look, and the weather was shit house all week. You're giving us out tips. Don't even check the fucking weather. I blame you, Manaia. I blame fucking you. Fuck South Canterbury.
You copped a stray there. It was me that told everyone to go in on it. And look, you know what? Like I said earlier, still not a bad bet, but 300 is a lot. 300 is a lot. I mean, I'm talking. I put 20 on. Like that's as far as I go.
We don't know this guy's financial position.
No,
that
true,
might not be a lot to him.
Yeah, true.
Although the fact that he was compelled to send a voicemail and telling me to go fuck myself tells me that $300 hurt.
It's quite a lot. But he didn't do it in the end, so it wasn't a sad story.
Is that I don't know if he did or didn't do it.
Yeah.
I feel like the vitriol in his voice suggests that he did.
Well, look, it's still not over. It's not over. And I got, admittedly, outside of these voicemails, I got a lot of DMs last night.
Really?
When they got rolled for 46. I was getting a lot of DMs saying, fuck you, G Lane. I followed you in, blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's not over.
Jeez, there's no win for a Black Caps supporter, eh?
It's not over.
We have a historic bowling performance and you're getting DMs telling you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I know. This is why we are what we are. This is Black Caps fans. That's why we get together in hard times.
Yeah. Another caller here. Yours, please.
G'day lads. I was always very disappointed that none of the ACC listeners managed to get the plunger on Murray Deeker's head. I thought that was a great competition and would love to have seen that. So maybe we can relaunch that competition with a fresh approach. And who is the next ACC listener to piss on Virat Kohli? In the spirit of Matt Heath's story yesterday, I think that would be a great competition. Hopefully on the pitch during this test series, one of the listeners gets on there and puts one up his leg. Anyway, hooroo.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult than a literal piss on Kohli. That's quite tough. This one was done in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
So
you'd need to get into the pool with him. Other concern I have is, can we be seen to be encouraging people trying to wee on Virat Kohli?
Yeah, it's not a great look, is it?
No.
I mean, in a court of law, it's hard to defend.
Very difficult to defend.
I mean, admittedly, I've been urinated on a lot. I went to, when I was at boarding school, with the communal showers. And you'd always get someone, and the idea is, it was very dangerous because you'd wash your hair probably once a week. But as soon as you put the shampoo and you got the shampoo in your hair, you obviously you close your eyes. You don't want the shampoo with your eyes. And immediately you've got blind spot left and right, and you're in a hot shower in a communal, and you wash it off and you look up and there's two dudes weeing on the side of your leg. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. Formative.
Yeah, they were formative years.
You're assuming they haven't done anything to the shampoo as well.
I don't even want to think about that. But also the Virat Kohli out for a duck, Will O'Rourke.
Oh, yeah.
Got him. And Joe Jury. Like, he's on leave at the moment. He must be looking just for a little bit of get his blood pumping, because he put the meme out, the Tiger King meme of Carol Baskin and her husband on the lead, and puts Kohli as the husband dressed up as a tiger and O'Rourke as Carol Baskin, and immediately puts it up and just baits the Indian fans. And I was like, holy shit.
They haven't found it.
They haven't bitten yet.
They haven't found it on Instagram. They did find it.
Oh, Facey they will.
Facebook.
Yep.
No, I'm just having a look through the
Facey and Reddit and X. They'll get on it.
Yeah.
But they're not big Insta fans. They
every now and then they find it and it blows up. So
it's kind of one of the things that just blows up. Could blow up whenever.
Yeah. I saw on Facebook there was one guy who's on there is like, this is why New Zealand shouldn't be a test match nation, a fucking disgrace, and blah 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 blah.
Yes, got him.
Keep that coming.
But I love everyone who comes on there and just puts. I did the popcorn emoji. Everyone's just sitting there waiting for someone to bite.
Yeah, go fellas. I can't even remember what that voicemail was about. Another one here. Yours, please.
G'day fellas, thanks for the stag do chat. I'm getting married in November.
Congratulations.
Any tips for surviving my stag do? Anyway, Uru, fuck G Lane, fuck South Canterbury, unlucky Manaia. See you later.
Tips for survival in your stag do: pick good friends.
Yeah, it's sort of too late now.
Yeah, it's true.
Mid-October, he's got about a month.
The invites are out, aren't they?
I would say on the day, people are looking for an excuse to really ratchet up the torture on you. So they're looking for any type of resistance, any type of attitude that you're going to take.
So give that early, do you reckon?
I would say keep your head down, and I would treat it as if, and I've never done this, but allegedly, if you're going to take some sort of psychedelic substance,
Yeah.
when people report that they've had a bad trip, it's because they fought against it.
Yeah.
You need to lean into it wholeheartedly. If you're resisting things, saying, oh, no, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to do this, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah,
You need
I
to
agree.
enthusiastically agree to every challenge, every risk, every dare that they make you do, because if they get a hint that you don't want to do something, then it's all on for young and old.
Yeah, you got to give them what they want.
That's right.
And even if they want you to react to being hit by your 100th paintball in the back,
Ham it up.
a bit of screaming, bit of yelling. They want to see you suffer a little bit, but don't resist it so far that you're like, oh, whatever. You got to play along.
Yes, you
Yeah.
also can't be nonchalant. Give them what they want, or the torture will not stop.
Or you can do what a friend of mine did. He did the reverse stag, where he got so fucked up so quickly that he became the liability. And he basically flipped it on us, and we were like, "Holy shit!" He jumped on a police car, and it was 5 in the afternoon. He was grabbing the windscreen wipers, and the two cops were like, "What the fuck?" And we're like, "Sorry." We're getting him off, and then he's fucking throwing shit, and we're like, "Oh my god!" The rest of the party was us trying to control this wild man.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I know.
Nuclear option.
Totally. We were like, "Whoa, this is a new strategy. This is new territory for us."
It's mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
You just nuke yourself.
Yes.
And then everyone else is, I like that.
Yeah, it was, and then we're at the pub, and he filled up my hat with bourbon and then just put my hat back on me, ice included, and it was just fun. I'm like, what the fuck?
What is this?
And I looked over at one of the other grooms, and I was like, what the fuck? And he goes, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
And he was in bed by fucking 8 o'clock.
Yeah. The other stag do advice I would give you is, unless you're in your early to mid-20s, it's going to be very tempting to play a full round of golf. Don't.
Yeah,
Do 9 tops.
Yeah.
Honestly, 6 is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
I think we did 6 holes at the last stag do I did, and it was perfect. One before that, Chris Key's stag do, people put bricks in his golf bag, and we did 9 holes. And got to be honest, come 6, 7 o'clock at night, everyone was pretty tired.
It's true, actually. You don't want to be too physical.
No, particularly once you're in your 30s. And then so Chris also at the paintball thing, he ran through and made the mistake of getting to the end because they made him run the gauntlet. And he goes, no one even hit me. And we're like, oh, is that right? So there was a Mexican gangland style execution of Chris Key with the paintballs after that. And final bit of advice, if you get the opportunity to just dominate one of the challenges or something that happens in your stag do, it is going to set you up for the rest of your day. We did one down there in Waimiri, and we had it closest to the pin with dire consequences for the stag. Stag versus the field.
Yes.
So he went first, and he pinned it to within a foot of the hole.
Nice.
And just won it. And he stood at the pin watching everyone else shank, slice, hook, everything. And he didn't say anything about it, but you got the vibe.
Yeah, quiet confidence.
Quiet confidence, and it just set him in good stead for the rest of the day. So hopefully some of that advice is applicable. I like the nuclear option, though. Another caller here. Yours, please.
Also, on another note, the other day, Manaia and McConey were talking about the most famous name in New Zealand.
Yes.
And I'm putting a vote in for Scott. Scott Dixon, McLaughlin, Razor Robertson, Scott Sorensen, Barrett, Kugerline, Scott Watson, Scotty Sumo Stevenson, Scott Styres, Scott Hamilton, Scott Curry, and Scotty Morrison. All famous and great New Zealanders with the name Scott. Really strong name. Hey, right.
So we were talking about what is the most famous or most powerful sporting name in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's not bad, Scott.
So for example, Ali Williams, you got Sonny Bill, Tim Nanai.
Yep.
All these different
Smiths
Williams.
are quite a common. Conrad Smith.
Ben Aaron,
yeah.
Scott.
Yeah.
Relax on Scott Hamilton. I mean, no disrespect to Scott Hamilton.
Got to relax on Scotty Morrison too. He's not much of a sports player.
I think he was an all right footy player.
Was
back
he?
in the day. I don't think he played to any
Okay.
great level, but I think Scott's got to be in there. It's between Scott, Williams, and Smith.
Yeah.
If we're going greatest name, there must be someone who's with the last name Scott as well. All right, I think we got one more, two more. Call it yours, please.
G'day fellas, Andrew from Napes here. I'm just catching up on a few old The Agendas and the one on the 1st of October is seeking suggestions for a trip, and I was wondering if you'd consider doing like a Top Gear Grand Tour type tour, motorbikes or crappy old cars, and end up somewhere like Southeast Asia, like Thai kickboxing or something. What are your thoughts?
Yep. They do a great tuk-tuk rally across India, which you can enter, which is from one coast to the other coast of India, and it's just like 50 tuk-tuks.
I would love that.
It looks amazing, and you can. I think it's a charity thing as well, so you're kind of going in teams. I'd totally be into that.
Yeah.
I think the suggestion was it's the Export Ultra Beer Garden Tour. So I'm pretty sure it's meant to stay away from automobiles probably and motorbikes if it's a beer garden tour. So yeah, I'm still a big fan of going to Texas and go barbecuing. Big Texas, like the ultimate backyard barbecue.
Yeah.
Go to Texas, big pit barbecue.
I would love the Export Ultra Beer Garden Grand Tour. I just want to do something like that. Just one of those. You start here, get here, however you can.
Yeah, like the Gumball Rally used to be.
That kind of thing.
Or that Dakar.
Even the Undy
London,
500 I missed.
London Dakar maybe.
Yeah.
Across Australia would be good.
The Nullarbor.
Yeah.
Oh, we could play the Nullarbor golf course. Longest golf course in the world. It stretches the entirety of the Nullarbor, 18 holes. Each of them's like, I don't know, must be like 100-something Ks long.
So what a par.
Through sand.
5,000?
Yeah, 5,000-6,000, I think. I have thought about that, and I would love to. That's a great point you raised about the export part of it.
Yeah.
We probably can't be.
No, you can't. Alcohol and driving is not.
That's right.
Can't be encouraged.
If we had someone driving us, or maybe this is something for another time, but yeah, the Gumball Rally would be fucking right up my alley. Great suggestion. One last caller here for a Friday. Yours, please.
G Lane, Manaia, how are we? Hey,
Good, thanks.
Just Great. Sitting here pondering this whole Cassowary celebrity death match.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, is that full cockfight rules? Because if it is, choosing the weapons that you strap to your feet is going to be vital. I know that when men will just want to slap a couple of machetes there, but I think that could be a mistake. I think a couple of filleting knives would go a bit better. So, yeah. What weapon would you choose? Please.
So I think...
Where is he? Is he calling from some sort of aviary?
Yeah, maybe
some sort of bird sanctuary?
Down the Caroline Bay aviary there.
Yeah.
Either that or he's just got like birdsong on a CD that he's playing in the background. I wonder if in cockfighting they tie the blades to the rooster's feet.
Yes.
Because they don't have hands.
Yeah.
So could I have my weapons in my hands?
I was trying to think about this, and I was like, no. First of all, there's no weapons. This is hand to hand, claw to claw.
But if there
fighting.
was,
But if there was weapons, yeah, you could hold them because you're a human. You've got hands.
Then it's game over.
Yeah, and that Cassawary's just got them on its dumbass claws.
That's right. So at that point, I'm going some sort of long samurai katana, like a very long one.
Patar.
Huh?
Like a patar, like a big long.
Yeah.
Hoisted on a patar.
Yeah, that's or I would go like there's sort of like those long blades, Japanese dudes that have them. It's basically a pole blade. So you're like it's a spear, but it's got a sword essentially on the end of it. I'm lopping that thing's head off from across the cage.
You got one shot though, don't you?
Nah, I reckon I got a couple.
You've got the long pole and you're aiming for its head. If you miss it,
and
it's coming at you, and it
closes the distance. Yeah,
it's got blades on it, and it just comes.
Well, then in that instance, I would probably go some sort of two-handed sword.
Just full like.
No, one sword, two hands.
Okay.
The big old Zweihander or something like that, where I have got enough momentum behind it that there's nothing it can do to stop me, and I can swing at the body at that point.
Yeah, right.
Because you could probably cut a cassowary in half with a big enough sword.
Yeah, it's true.
I
think it'd be too one-sided if you're carrying a weapon.
Yeah, and the thing about tying stuff to my feet is my hamstrings are so short that I'm not kicking it at all. So
you're gonna have to lie on your back and just do the bicycle, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just gonna hinder me. I've now just got two big long hunks of metal hanging off my feet. I wasn't gonna kick it anyway, you know.
Or just maybe strap a knife to the middle of your head and just go and headbutt it with you.
Yeah, give me a fifth weapon. You reckon? I got the hands, the legs. It's gonna try and rip my guts out. So I don't know. Do I put plate armor's a whole different discussion, I think.
That's not a weapon.
Nah, long sword, I think I'd go. But yeah, adding something to my feet's not going to help me. It's only going to hinder me. All right, that'll do us for today. Watch out on this feed. Later on today, we will have the sports book with the TAB. We're making our Karaka Millions. No,
Everest.
Everest, sorry.
No, the Everest. Big
Millions.
Mega Millions. Richest race in Australasia is tomorrow.
Yep.
And your chance to win $10 million.
Oh.
And it's free. It's free entry.
And chances are, since I misnamed it, I'm probably not going to win it then.
No, you're not.
But we're going to have a crack, so watch out for that podcast later on this feed. Otherwise, we will see you on Monday for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.